The Rewind
Sports 60. From the city of big shoulders, the jewel of the Midwest, comes a sports show that's one of a kind. From iconic players to iconic stadiums to iconic teams, this is my kind of town. Chicago! And the Rewind Sports 60 is my kind of show. From Air Jordan to Sweetness to Papa Bear Hallis, this city works hard, but plays even harder. Danny Carlino and Jerry Riles bring you the Rewind Sports 60. Live. The Rewind Sports 60 starts now.
Welcome, everybody, to the Rewind Sports 60. This is a wonderful Memorial Day weekend and the first day of some phenomenal weather. I'm so excited. It's beautiful outside, a lot going on in the sports world, although we don't have the last dance, but we still have tons to talk about. And I want to get to my esteemed panel. We're all practicing our social distancing and we all have our precautions for who knows how long. I mean, this may go on forever, but I want to get to you guys. Dan, the marvelous one, Dan Marver, how are you on this Memorial Day
great.
weekend?
You know, I went to the beach and then I played some tennis, had a big picnic. It was great.
Was this all in your mind, or where did you do this at?
Yes, ma'am.
There you go. Hey, we got to get there some way because we won't be going there in real life anytime soon.
I can dream, can't I?
Yes, absolutely. I hear you. And my phenomenal co-host, Jerry Riles. Jerry, what's going on? I see you got your Buckeyes hat on, so you're feeling real good tonight.
I got it going. Lauren, how are you? Good to see you.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. Let me tell you something. I'm just ecstatic. I'm beside myself. The temperatures outside on this Memorial Day weekend, Lauren, is it's fantastic.
I'm so excited.
But
I forgot we were in the pandemic.
You better believe it. And a lot of people have forgotten we're in the pandemic. If you saw the video of the Ozarks, they're partying like it's 1999 or something.
I heard. What's up with that?
But I got to tell you, there's sports on television. You got the match going on. It's hilarious. We'll get a chance to talk about that. But I got to tell you, we're taking, we're being safe.
Yes.
We're taking precautions, like you said. I got my hand sanitizer.
Did you pay $20 for it?
I didn't pay anything. I got a beautiful daughter, Teresa, at the University of Illinois down in Champaign. She is on top of her game, and she ordered the entire family some face masks. She ordered everybody gloves, and she ordered the hand sanitizer. So I got that here. So I'm all set, girl. I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm all good.
All right, and he's back.
Hey,
Our favorite guy.
Hey, back again.
NFL veteran artist extraordinaire, Quentin Demps. What's up, Q?
What's good, y'all? What's up, Jerry, Lauren, marvelous?
How
I'm feeling
you?
good.
What's up, brother? How are you, man?
I can't see Jerry. You guys got me over here in the corner like a little babysitter, like a little the stepchild or something like that. But it's cool. I can't see you, my man. What's up, Jerry?
Hey, brother, good to see you. Looking good. You got your do all squared away. You were the marvelous one. You weren't the marvelous one. Had a chance to get your do together.
Everybody got their hair did.
Yeah,
they got their hair did.
Everybody got their
haircut.
I'm ready to go outside.
We don't want to know anything about any illegal activities. Mayor Lightfoot may be watching. We're not doing any of that. We're not participating in any of that, Mayor Lightfoot. But it's
well, you know what?
Be out.
I'm glad you mentioned the great mayor of the city of Chicago. I reached out to her people to see if she could come on briefly today to wish all the veterans happy Memorial Day and get the weekend going off strong. But because of her busy schedule, Lauren, she said unfortunately
I think she might be a little bit
busy,
a little bit busy.
But we want her to come up for air and entertain the sports world.
Busy, man. She can come see me. Hey,
she
come meet Q. I wasn't here last time she was here.
Absolutely.
So you gotta pull up on me, man.
Yeah. So Lauren, man, it's been I love this weekend because of the temperatures and the weather, but the rain, man, that
rain was no joke.
You ain't seen nothing. There's 4 more days of it coming.
Really?
Yeah. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
See? It's Chicago weather. Yeah. It's like, why even look at it? Because it's going to change dramatically from like hour to hour.
She said, why even look at it?
Why even look at it?
Because we miss it, Lauren.
Yeah, that's true.
We miss it. It's like seeing a beautiful woman walk down the street. You don't get to see them that often, so you have to stare as long as you can while she's in existence.
Cut that out,
It's kind of like you, Lauren.
Jerry, cut that out.
Jerry, don't try to give me the cosign. You try to get me to slide right into that.
No, Lauren, Lauren, it's I know that people are watching us on Facebook Live, YouTube Live. They watch us all during the week because we have the Restream broadcast going. But I guarantee you, our viewers, they look forward to seeing Lauren Cox on the Rewind Sports 60 WCPT 820 AM. They wait all week to see you.
So all we got is male viewers. We ain't got no female viewers waiting to see.
Well, Q, let me tell you something, Q.
I know they're trying to see Marvelous.
They always looking for Marvelous, but they falling all over themselves now that you and Steve.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the only woman's face they can see. All week.
Exactly. Hey, Lauren, but I do, we joke and we have a good time on the show. It's the fastest hour in sports conversation, the Rewind Sports 60 WCPT 820 AM. But to a serious matter before we get into our great show that we have on tap on this Memorial Day weekend, I didn't get a chance to see this video, but you said you did, and I heard of the unfortunate, disappointing, violent, it wasn't violent, but it was in violation, video of a former colleague of mine, a good friend of mine, Gaynor Hall, to WGN Channel 9.
Yeah.
Where she was doing a report, I understand.
Right.
And she was, well, you go ahead and paint the picture and share the story with the viewers.
She was doing live coverage in Shorewood, as you were talking about the rain, and some moron comes up and rushes her and says something I can't even begin to say on television, although it was really, it's live television.
What was it? I mean, you can't say the word, of course, but
the P word. We'll just put it like that. That's what he said. And, she was horrified. She was totally shocked.
Yeah.
You got to understand, as a reporter under these conditions, you're already super on alert because you're having to be out in the elements. You still need to look good. I mean, I could just think of a million things that was going through her head at that point. You're in a rainstorm, and people are like, well, why didn't she do anything? And it's and why did the cameraman? It's he's got a huge and those cameras are expensive, so they were shocked. I mean, you could tell she was absolutely shocked, and you can view the video, Gaynor Hall. You can view it on WGN. And, one of the other reporters basically just tweeted it out because they took a snapshot of the guy's face, and they were like, basically identify this guy. And so right away he was identified and he was arrested.
Right, exactly.
So, thank God, of course, obviously people were going to do it, but people are like, why didn't she hit him? And, where was the cameraman? And it's they're in shock because even if people jump in the frame or something, that's one thing, but to grab her, it was just, it really speaks to how crazy people are right now. Why would you do that? She's reporting on a natural disaster. I mean, pretty much the elements, tornadoes.
Right.
So why would you do that? So, of course, people were outraged.
Sure.
And, she just sent a message to him on Facebook and basically said, I was afraid, and, now you're arrested. And was it worth it? Was it worth it being foolish? But it was just totally, totally ridiculous. And it speaks to what we were talking about last week when I was telling you guys, being a female reporter, people will. We were just talking about this last week, what could possibly
The worst
happen.
of all,
You wouldn't have did that to a guy.
Remember what happened to Lara Logan in Egypt? I mean, it can get really bad. She was actually attacked there.
Yeah.
I see the haircut police outside. I just want to mention something. I did actually get my haircut in Wisconsin, but I didn't go to the bar next door that had people going out the door.
Well, good. We're glad you didn't do all of that, Marvelous. But Gaynor Hall, she's a great friend of the program. Had an opportunity, blessed opportunity to work with her at WGN CLTV. A fantastic young lady, a great family. And from what I've been watching, I try to watch all the news here in the Chicagoland area to support, because I know everyone, people at all the stations. And so I've seen Gaynor, and she's done many of her reports at home. In her living room. So that's why I was surprised that she was out on location. But I guess with, the ordinance and everything being laxed as far as the phases are concerned here in the state of Illinois in the Chicagoland area, I believe the station allowed, say, hey, it's okay to get out there. And Patrick Garwood, I saw his tweet, regarding the moron issue, and they caught the gentleman.
Right.
I think he's a 19, 20-year-old kid that thought it was funny. And folks, let me tell you something. It's not funny. And if you haven't seen the video of the Ozarks, right? All these people are partying like I said, it's 1999. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. And to think that it is, you're being totally irresponsible. And if you want to be irresponsible regarding yourself, You're entitled to do that.
Jay, can I say something?
But real quick, Q, you're jeopardizing your family, your friends, your neighbors.
Strangers.
They're strangers. You're jeopardizing everyone else's life and livelihood because you don't believe it's real and you want to go out there and have fun. It's real. Believe it. Go ahead, Q.
Well, Jerry, states are opening up now, man, and people, we've been on lock for so long. Can I just live my life like Marvelous said? We just at some point, I'm just gonna go for broke. Like, man, it's been 6-7 months. I don't want to die in lockdown.
Sure, and I was thinking about the virus doesn't honor state borders.
I'm just speaking for people who are going out and having a good time. Like, what if they like just exercising their faith and like not living in fear?
No, that's true, and you shouldn't live in fear. But the problem is, Q, is the fact that you're taking a virus, if you have it, if you've contracted it, and you're spreading it amongst others who may want to protect themselves, who may want to remain healthy, who may want to protect their families.
Yeah.
And you're violating their rights, so to speak, to live the way that they want to live because you want to go out and have a good time. Now, Gaynor Hall is going to have to get tested because she doesn't know if this fool has COVID-19 because he wants to have a good time and
he
joke.
Didn't have a mask on.
Right. So now Gaynor Hall has to go and get tested. She's going to probably have to be quarantined for 14 days. She has a young family, so now she's got to be cautious. She won't even be able to go in the house and stay with her kids and her family because this fool is thinking it's funny and having a joke, and it's not real. And that's the problem, Q.
Yeah, I think it's just, I just feel like it's no right or wrong. It's just like perspective,
Well, I think it's a wrong personally. It's a wrong.
At this point, though, like, because states are opening it up right now. Like,
it doesn't make it right.
I mean, so what are you going to do? Stay in the house still?
Well, here's the deal. And my good friend, Howard Brookins of the 21st Ward, he said, hey, listen, you want to practice social distancing by being 6 feet apart or you want to be 6 feet under? It's up to you.
That's true.
It's up to you.
That's true.
And if you want to live that way, that's fine. But don't bring it over here.
Yeah.
That's the point, man.
Well, and then there's the argument that if you don't open up, you're going to have suicides, and then you're going to have more deaths from that than the virus, maybe.
Perspective, yeah. Perspective. Like,
well, I know, and people are great, well, I can't call them great.
What about just believing in God and everybody just having no fear and start speaking the mantra?
Listen,
overcome the virus.
I believe in God, and I don't have any fear.
We have overcome.
But Q, I told you, before the pandemic hit, before the virus, and they allegedly said it was here in late December, early January. I got the flu on January 1st.
Yeah.
I was down for the count.
Me too.
Dude,
yeah.
I was out for I was down.
I remember.
Man, I'm telling. They said COVID.
Yeah.
I don't think I had it because I didn't spread it to anybody else. There are people that believe that I had it, but I didn't spread it to anybody else. It was terrible.
I probably had it too.
Yeah.
Because I was down.
Let me tell you something.
Down, dude. I never felt that bad with the flu.
You're right. Exactly.
I'm talking about good
dude.
God.
I've had the flu as a kid, right? And I couldn't go to school. Dude, this thing that I had is unbelievable.
Yeah, mine too.
So I bring that point up to say, you don't want it. It's brutal.
Right.
And there have been cases where people said they wish they were dead. Then they have to go through this virus.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's
because some people said that it felt like there were needles in their lungs every time that they would breathe.
God.
That it was so painful, Lauren, that they wish they were dead. Then they have to go through this. Yeah, it's that brutal.
Yeah.
And so, the only thing you have to do, just Google coronavirus patients who've overcome or whatever. And just look at some of the video. There was a brother in Ohio, I think Columbus. He was one of the first who contracted the virus.
Yeah.
The way that he described his experience for 10 days out of the 14 or 20 days that he had it, he said he wanted to just lay in bed and die. But the nurses, and God bless them because they're the heroes, those frontline workers, he said they encouraged him to get out of bed and keep moving to fight the virus off. He said it was so painful, it was so destructive regarding how he felt that he wished he was dead. I'm telling you. Hey, let me tell you something. You people out there who are foolish and stupid and ignorant, and I'm going to use all the adjectives I can to describe it. If you think that it's not real and you think it can't happen to you, God bless you, and I pray that you don't get it and you don't bring it to your family members or your friends or your neighbors, because the understanding of what the virus can do, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
Yeah.
And I got a couple enemies out there, but I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. I swear to you, I wouldn't do it. It's ridiculous. It's just Q.
Yeah, no,
We've never been here before.
I know.
You got to ride the wave, brother.
Yeah, I mean,
because the alternative is not a good one.
Yeah, I say what I say, but like I'm taking it serious too. Like it ain't no game, you know. It's definitely like for real. So
yeah,
you know,
it certainly is.
The lungs get filled with fluid and they inflame, is what happens.
Yeah, yeah. It's
yeah.
And we're gonna say a prayer vigil for my my pastor. I go to St. Joseph the Worker Church in Wheeling, and my pastor, Father George, is in intensive care as we speak because he has COVID-19. So we're going to have a prayer vigil tonight at 7 o'clock. There's a prayer vigil, not only for him and our parishioners in our community, but for everyone here in the Chicagoland area, in the state of Illinois, and in the world. If you want to participate in this prayer vigil, if you actually... Our number is 773-763-9278, 773-763-9278. If you want a copy of the prayer at 7 o'clock, call Devin. Leave me your contact information, and I'll get it out to you. I'll text it out to you. I'll email it out to you. I'll get it out to you as quickly as I possibly can. But for at 7 o'clock, we got a prayer vigil for all those who are suffering from the COVID-19 and coronavirus. But we transition, Lauren Cox, Quentin Dempsey, Q, the 17th letter in the alphabet, and, of course, the marvelous one, Dan Marver. And I got to tell you, I am very, very happy. Why do you ask?
Why?
Because the GOAT, and Q, you probably know this guy, the best of all time in the National Football League, Tom Brady, will be lacing them up if we have an NFL season this year.
They said
for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tom Brady, along with Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, and Peyton Manning, they're down in Florida in the match game
right now.
A charity fundraiser taking place, and the reason I'm happy. Now, Q, you've been out on the golf course, I'm sure.
Yeah, I've been out
messing around. Marvelous, you've been out there.
Yeah,
Lauren, I'm not sure. Have you gotten on the links at all?
I'm an excellent golfer.
You're excellent. Well, good for you.
I'm not excellent.
Let me tell you something. I am very happy because the GOAT. I don't know if you guys had an opportunity to watch any of it, but Tom Brady, he made me happy today. Why? Because he plays just as bad as we play, man. He was terrible.
Right.
He was terrible. But on the seventh,
so he's not good at everything. Huh?
On the seventh hole, he had an incredible shot. But Tom Brady, it was hilarious. I was laughing. It was hilarious because he was terrible, and I was like, I can relate to you, Tom Brady. But I got to tell you, there's one guy on our TRS60 hotline who is not terrible at the game of golf, and he probably can give Tom Brady and us a few lessons if we surely ask. He is the great. He's been on the Rewind Sports 60 before, and he joins us again on our TR60 hotline. He is the great former NFL veteran, and of course, he's the golf pro at Jackson State University. He's on our TR60 hotline. He is the one, the only, the great Eddie Payton, the brother of the great late Walter Payton, joining us on the Rewind Sports 60. Eddie, how are you, man?
What's up, Eddie?
Hey, having a great day, relaxing, staying inside and watching bad guys.
Watching bad guys.
Hey, Eddie, I was just telling everyone, I was laughing. I was beside myself, and I really felt good today on this Memorial Day weekend because I'm watching Tom Brady, and I'm telling you, he's slicing and dicing and cutting and chopping, and I mean, he just reminded me of myself out there on the links, man. What did you think of this match played so far that's taking place down in Florida?
I tell you what, if you look at it for what it is, it's a great example of how professional athletes will put themselves in embarrassing situations to help others. I mean, the money they raised from Tom Brady making a fool out of himself will go to help a lot of people in troubled times.
Did he look that bad? He made a fool out of himself?
You know, I wouldn't say that he looked bad, but I would have bleeped every shot he made so the little kid didn't have to watch it and be traumatized for the rest of their life.
Oh, my God.
Hey, Eddie, say hello to Quentin Demps, 10-year veteran, former 10-year veteran in National Football League, played with the beloved. But he's a co-host in our studios of the Rewind Sports 60 here. Say hello to Quentin Demps.
What's up, Eddie?
Hey, my pleasure, man.
Likewise,
what
man.
Year,
What year? What
year were you in the league?
08 to 18. I did a decade, baby.
Oh, well, luckily you were gone, so you didn't get none of this carnage that I delivered.
Hey, your last name, I don't want no smoke, man. I don't want no smoke, man. You got it.
Yeah, Eddie, you know what? You bring up a very valid point. Tom Brady, I'm impressed with Peyton Manning. You can tell he's been out on the links. Now, Tom Brady, I think he's got a little bit of an excuse because he's still in the league and he's got to, get ready for hopefully this 2020 NFL season. That hopefully will get underway. But I mean, it was good, that these guys were able to get together, and it was really refreshing to see some real, so to speak, pro sports taking place for a good cause.
Well, I tell you what, you think about what athletes prepare to do during the off season, the weights, the running, and all the film study they have to do. And then you think about what quarterbacks do. They go play golf every day. And I'm afraid after watching Brady that he needs to play more golf and get his ass out of the film room.
Don't feel bad. This is Dan. Don't feel bad about him. After all this, he gets to go home to Giselle.
Right.
That's a great second prize. I'll take that.
Yeah. Hey, Eddie.
You just can't say what these guys, the commitment they have, knowing what their games are, to go out and let themselves make money for people who need it. That's the American way. I mean, you can't say anything Americana without saying guys giving of themselves to help people who can't help themselves.
Yeah, and I haven't heard. Maybe you have the latest numbers, but the last I heard, it was at over $17 million that was raised. And I got to tell you, on that, tell us a little bit about the seventh hole. Well, Tom Brady, he didn't eagle the hole. What did he do? It was an incredible shot that I caught. But describe to our listeners and our viewers what that shot from Tom Brady was like on the seventh hole.
Let me give you a play-by-play. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're at the seventh hole at Tiger Woods' home course. On the tee is the GOAT, the greatest of all time, the six-time Super Bowl champion, Tom Brady. He sprang. He opens his left shoulder. The ball goes to the right. He goes under a tree. He has to take a drop. He chips it out. He's 150 away, line 3. He scuds it. It runs across the trap. Over the green, backs up, and in the hole for 3. He made it. Can you believe it? And everybody's saying, oh, hell to the no.
It was an incredible shot. Lauren.
Whether he was trying to do it or not, it was a great shot and made great TV. I mean, he may not be able to break 100, but he hit that shot on national TV, and that's all he's going to talk about until he's old enough for the senior tour next year.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Eddie, this is Lauren Cox here. So I wanted to ask you, I know you had a long run at JSU, 30-year run, actually, as the university's coach of the golf program. So I'm really curious to kind of get your insight on what do you think the impact of COVID-19 is going to have on college students, particularly African-American college students. I know my son, he's in the junior PGA, and of course they didn't have any practice or anything because of the COVID-19. And so, just thinking about the impact of his game, in the future, what are your thoughts?
Well, as a former college instructor and men's and women's golf coach, I think that the impact will be long felt if we're not careful about the way we tune things up now. I mean, I don't plan to go back out to dinner and to movies and to grocery stores until sometime in November. And for teams to be trying to get back in school putting themselves in harm's way. And I could be, look, this is just my opinion, you asked. I think that before we get all these young people back and start getting them out on the field, we need to know more about COVID-19 than we know now. I mean, what we know is, and we look at the numbers, in Mississippi alone, there's been over 100,000 cases, but over 600 deaths. I mean, so we're not talking numbers, we're talking people. Now, if sports in America is more important than human life, I think that we're in a bad situation as a country.
Yeah, you know what? I echo your sentiments for sure, Eddie. And before you came on, I said the same thing. You know, it's a tough situation, but it's a situation that none of us have been in, including our government leaders and our local leaders. And they're going on what the doctors are informing them and what the scientists are informing them. And we're taking this thing one step at a time. And it's because of, the safety for our lives. And I understand it gets very, very difficult and very tough to stay, safe indoors, to stay at home. It's very, very difficult. But if you think of the alternative, and it's not instant. I mean, it's people who have contracted this disease, man, they say it's excruciating. It's terrible, and they don't wish it on their worst enemy. And that's the point I think we need to hammer home and get across to people, that this thing is real, and it can claim your life, and it's not going to be a pretty ending.
No. Well, again, you look at the situation that you're asking our kids to go back in. Classrooms, dormitories, training rooms, and you don't know, there's no way to tell who is asymptomatic or symptomatic. There's no way to tell. So you put yourself in a situation every day where you may meet somebody that you know that may already be infected, and then he affects you. I mean, I know that the economy, yada, 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 we're the greatest economy in the world, but we're treating percentages like they're just numbers, and the percentages are people. We're talking about human life. People who have families, mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers, they're not numbers.
Right.
And until we get to a situation where it's recognizable and treatable, then I think we need to move forward slowly with kid gloves.
I agree with you. We're on the great Eddie Payton, brother of the late, great Walter Payton, joining us on our TRS60 hotline. He's currently the Jackson State golf coach, pro, down at Jackson State for the men's and women's golf team, and he's joining us on our TRS60 hotline. Q, you want to jump in?
Yeah. Hey, Eddie, I say this with all due respect, but I'm so tired of talking about COVID-19. I'm ready just to, anyway, man, like, tell me something about your brother, man. Tell me a story about Walter Payton, man. Tell me something funny just right quick, or something crazy.
There's been many books written, and of course, the best one that I ever read was Walter and Me.
Yeah.
By Eddie Payton. You should run out real quick and get the copy.
Oh, look at it. Look at the book. Yeah.
Hey.
All the books, every dime goes to the Walter Payton Scholarship.
Okay.
That provides scholarships for underprivileged, underserved kids all over the country. And to this point, we've given out 92 at $30,000 apiece.
And what's the name of it again? What's the title?
The Walter Payton Scholarship.
Nice.
Walter and Me.
Walter.
Book.
No, the book.
But now, getting back about Walter, I mean, what can you say about one of the all-time greatest football players to ever grace the field of the NFL? And what we always like to say that, everything has been said, and one truism is that he did really well for a guy who wasn't even the best running back in his own family.
Oh my gosh. Hilarious.
Oh man.
Well, Eddie, we do have to say that, because I truly believe you were the greatest running back in the family. There's no question about it. And, we know what you were able to do in the league and with the Purple People. You weren't back in the Purple People Eater, but you were with the Minnesota Vikings for, a spell. But the fact that Walter catapulted you and hurdled you as far as, the best running back, not only in the family, but not only in the the state of Illinois for the Chicago Bears, but in all of the National Football League, and Tom Brady will take a back seat, is the fact that he played in Chicago and the way that he worked, his work ethic, his blue-collar approach to the game, it made him the greatest of all time. And that's the only reason he bumped you to we'll say that you are the best B running back.
Well,
he's the best A running back. You're the best B running back.
You say what you please or what you choose in Illinois, but if you come below that Mason-Dixon line, your anus belongs to me.
Oh, my God.
Hey, man. Hey, listen, it's the fastest hour in sports conversation. We always love catching up with you and checking things out. And, we'll be in contact with you because, the National Football League, I know the Mayor Cuomo for New York said, hey, let's get back to sports immediately because, everybody misses it, man. But as far as you're concerned, we need to just wait this thing out and side on the side of caution, brother, as opposed to jumping into it.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there losing jobs and a lot of companies out there losing money. But to me, life itself is a lot more important than a dollar.
Yeah.
And if we're willing to sacrifice our people, the people of this country that made it great, as collateral damage so we can make a few more dollars. I mean, to me, it's hard to grasp what's right about that. I mean, we're in a war, but we're fighting an opponent that we can beat if we be patient and diligent about finding what his weakness is.
Yeah.
Open up the beaches and you say, everybody, stay 5 feet away from everybody and wear your mask. And I drove by the reservoir today, and people were swimming, running, and jumping with no mask on, like nothing is wrong. I mean, we're fighting a silent, masked killer. And until we find out a way to recognize who that killer is and fight him on his own terms, then we need to be careful. I mean, we really do. We're not numbers. We're people.
I agree with you, man. Thank you so very much for expressing your sentiments and your thoughts about this coronavirus and COVID-19. Remain safe, stay safe, man, and continue to spread the word out there to as many people as you possibly can. And we certainly will be in contact with you moving forward, my man.
Well, you guys stay healthy and continue to do a job at 8:20 a.m. The choice of the people.
No, there you go. He's the great Eddie Payton joining us on the Rewind Sports 60. Brother, take care, stay safe, and we'll talk to you.
Hey, anytime you guys get ready. Thank you.
Got it, man. You got it. He's the great Eddie Payton on our TRS60 hotline, the brother of the great late Walter Payton, talking about the match play and, COVID. God bless him, and you got to be safe. I'm with him, Lauren.
Yeah. He said he was going to kick some anus, too, so I'm scared of him. I'm scared of Eddie.
You're scared of him?
Mm-hmm.
No, Lauren,
he ain't no joke.
No,
he told
no joke.
you better be glad you wasn't playing when I was
real.
He showed that first thing he said.
He's real.
Yeah.
I hit stick Eddie, but he ain't Walter.
He's real. So, Lauren, I mean, you share a little bit of, we don't want to get into your personal life or anything like that, but your son is junior golf?
Yeah,
nice.
So, I mean, he hasn't done one thing with golf now, and even like my golf pro, he's like, no, it's not sanitary and we can't wash hands, and so I know they're supposed to be opening up more things, and some golf stuff has been extended or is about to be, so we'll see. But this is the implication for children that are doing sports. It's like all of this is, you don't know how it's going to impact them moving forward in terms of scholarships and the next phase of whatever they want to do from a sports standpoint, and even kids that are just a part of the team. It's those are all of the things that we have to be careful about, because it's one thing for an adult if you want to go and go to the beach and risk yourself, but for the people who are responsible with the children in terms of kids, that's a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And is school going to start in the fall?
Right.
We don't know.
No. Yeah. And, they're talking about opening everything up. What is it, May 29th, Friday, here in the state? Mm-hmm. And Lori Lightfoot, our mayor, is like, like Eddie Payton, we still we gotta wait this thing out. She said, I'm going to continue to hammer home, to be responsible and how serious this COVID-19 is. And I understand that she's not going to open up the golf courses in the city or at least around the lake.
It's because I know like some of the maybe like the range or something like that. Some of that was open,
mm-hmm.
so I'm not, I'm unclear on exactly what the changes will be. But our golf coach was like he did not feel comfortable with.
Sure.
And us too. It's like that stuff isn't like who's sanitizing those, the carts and all of that. But that was one of them too. I think they said that they will allow carts, but it only can be like one person in the cart. I did see that. So maybe one day.
Because I went golfing on Friday out in near me, Buffalo Grove area, Nickel Knolls, where Walter Payton used to run the hill.
Okay.
Right. I went golfing there, and it's a twosome. So my wife and I went. And they spaced everybody out.
You guys couldn't ride in the same car. Right?
No carts.
Oh,
not even the pool
carts now. Okay.
Not even the pool carts.
Oh my gosh. Are you serious?
Yeah. It's a par 3 9-hole course, so it's not really that bad. Mm-hmm. But they've taken every precaution. We ordered on the phone, or you can order online. Mm-hmm. And then they give you your tee time. You give them your credit card over the phone, and they take care of all that transition.
Okay.
They're inside, you're outside. You get your scorecard. We have carts, pool carts, whatever. So we got there and we got changed, put our shoes on and everything, and then we went out and walked the course. And the next twosome was like, we were at 8 o'clock. The next twosome was at 8:15.
Okay.
There was a twosome ahead of us at 7:45. Mm-hmm. So they've got it, and they're booked. They got it all squared away. Yeah. So, it was good to get out there, Marvelous. It was good to get out there, but you just have to simply be safe.
You do. And I don't mean to steal Gabe's thunder, but I got I got Woods and Manning up by 2 in that match up after the 12th hole. The latest I saw. And, the thing is one size doesn't fit all. You look at maybe Montana or even downstate Illinois, and I know that's the thing. It doesn't honor borders like when I went to Wisconsin, but it's just crazy. The people downstate, and I know people downstate. Mm-hmm. They've got no deaths. Maybe they 6 infections at a prison or something, mm-hmm. and they don't understand it. So I get that.
Right.
But in Chicago, it's not time.
No, it's not. And it's interesting you mentioned Montana because when this whole thing started, Montana was one of the last states. I don't even know if they closed, right? I don't even know if they had to stay at home or anything like that, but they were one of the last states, to take any action. Now, we fast forward a few weeks, and I just saw, the chart, the map of the country, and they're in the red because they didn't act immediately.
Right.
And I think they have a population in the whole state of about 1 million, just over 1 million people. Right. And it's a red state now, not for political reasons, but because of the COVID-19.
Right. Well, that's true, too, and you could go the other way. The long-term implications of this, a country like Sweden, which didn't shut down anything, is going to have 60% herd immunity, and it won't come back there.
Right.
So, I mean, they sacrificed a lot of people at the beginning here, but they may be better off in the fall. So, I mean, there's all kinds of ways to look at this.
Well, here's the thing. They're talking about the second phase coming up in the fall as well, and that's when people, they get their flu shots and, that second wave of the flu coming in, and that can be even more horrific than this first stage of the COVID.
Yeah, we don't know. I'm sure we don't know exactly how many people have had it because of the asymptomatic aspect.
Right, and I think Q. I honestly, it's just my opinion. I think most of us have had it. I really do.
Right.
Because they've shown, illustrations of people sneezing in a restaurant and how far the droplets travel. They've shown that, and so when we took a low key, and I tell you, again, I went down with the flu, what they called the flu, January, for the whole month of January. The NBA All-Star weekend was here in Chicago.
With reporters from China.
All over the globe. Not just China, but all over the globe.
Right.
And we here in the States didn't know much about it or anything about it. Thought it was, hey, it was over there.
Absolutely.
Right? And so all of those people who were in attendance for NBA All-Star Weekend.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
And it was tons of conferences like that.
All over the place.
The country.
All over the place. And I'm telling you, I wouldn't be surprised if many of us had some form of it.
Yeah.
Maybe some are asymptomatic, maybe some, I don't, but
it's it immune system. Some people's immune systems are stronger.
Exactly.
And that's the thing that's going to really, that and your pre-existing conditions, obviously. But.
Bingo. And that's another issue, Q, when we talk about what's happening in the black and brown community. We talked about it. We touched on it first here in the Rewind Sports 60 back in February, when it started to surface here in the United States, and it's really running rampant in the black and brown community.
I mean, and we go back to March. Remember Rudy Gobert touching all the microphones?
Yeah.
And that was like March 11th. He may have done everybody a favor inadvertently.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
100%.
And now Patrick Ewing was just diagnosed, the head coach for the Georgetown Hoyas was diagnosed with COVID-19, and he said as well, it's real.
Yeah, Eddie Sutton, the coach, died from it.
Yeah. So
what did Jerry Sloan pass away from?
He had a long-standing illness.
Yeah,
he had Parkinson's.
It wasn't COVID.
It wasn't the 10th episode. It wasn't the 10th episode that killed him. No.
Right. Our condolences go out to the Sloan family. Jerry Sloan. He was a instrumental part as far as the Chicago Bulls organization.
2020 been crazy.
Yeah, it's Jerry Sloan was phenomenal. He, along with Norm Van Leer, an incredible backcourt during the 70s. They were ferocious, and they were no nonsense type of guys. And Jerry Sloan's 23 years for the Utah coach for the Utah Jazz.
That's a long time.
Yeah, may he rest in peace. And he is definitely his number 4 hangs in the rafters at the United Center. So he had
a great dry sense of humor too. Do you remember after the game where they scored the lowest points ever?
Yeah, I saw that.
And he says, "Was that the score?"
Yeah, he had like 54 points for the game, and he was like, "Was that the score?" I mean, he was quite an individual, and he was a no nonsense type of guy. I could just imagine. Well, I don't know if I could imagine going up against Norm Van Leer and Jerry Sloan back during that time. The NBA was something else, man.
Right. Even then, the referees called it quite differently in the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah, we're going commercial free here to Rewind Sports 60 WCPT 820 AM. It's the fastest hour in sports conversation. If you have any comments, anything you want to talk about in the world of sports, you can feel free to give us a call. Our number is 773-763-9278, 773-763-WCPT. We were hoping to get an opportunity to catch up with Larry Merchant, the longtime boxing commentator at HBO. And the reason we were inviting him on and wanted to talk with him was the fact that Iron Mike Tyson is talking about a comeback.
Really?
Lauren, why do you laugh? Bored.
Why do you laugh?
People getting bored and losing their mind.
What is this, like Rocky 10? I mean,
he's 53 years old.
Have you seen his video?
I've seen the video.
Dude, let me tell you something. I wouldn't want to get in the ring with him.
I don't care what the video says. I know he doesn't look 24.
That boy look 24.
No, he don't look 24.
I wish you could play the video for the viewers.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, see that video.
Iron Mike Tyson.
I don't care.
Yeah, he said he wants to come back, and
his body look good.
He got me feeling young though. The way he was moving and stuff, like, dang, 53.
You know what? This man is.
Look better now than it did then.
He's on our TRS60 hotline. I just talked him up. He is the legendary. He's phenomenal. He is outstanding. He is the HBO boxing commentator. He's joining us on the Rewind Sports 60. He's Larry Merchant. Larry, how are you, man? Welcome to the program.
Well, thank you. What's on your mind?
Well, what's on our mind, Larry, is the fact that this guy named Mike Tyson, who's been out of the ring for quite some time, but when he was in the ring and he made his presence to the world, he was just destroying opponents left and right. So let me tell you something, Larry, and you remember this. This guy, you would get, and you can get it on free television. That was the beauty of it. But you would be able to watch this guy. You go, okay, Mike Tyson is fighting, right? You go, okay, let me go get my Coca-Cola or my Sprite, and let me go get my popcorn, and I'll sit down and I'll get ready to watch a prize fight. By the time you did all of that and you got in your seat, the fight was over. This guy, Mike Tyson, was just crushing people. We know his story as far as what happened to him in the latter part of his career and, the one-man show, afterlife of boxing. Now he said he wants to come back. And there are people going, really? So we said, let's reach out to the great Larry Merchant, who knows any and everything about boxing, and pick his brain and ask him the question, do you think that this is real, and do you think Mike Tyson can make a comeback?
Well, first, thank you for that lengthy and sweet introduction. And second, I would just remind everyone that Mike Tyson's career essentially was over before his 23rd birthday, when he got beaten by Buster Douglas. He did fight after that and win titles, but he also got beaten twice by Evander Holyfield and got stopped by Lennox Lewis. I'm just trying to put that into some kind of perspective, including the fact that his exciting, explosive style captured the imagination of a lot of people at that time. There hadn't been a heavyweight like that for some time. So it's all understood. And as far as Mike Tyson coming back, it would be classified by anyone who is in any reality about boxing and boxing history as an exhibition. Ali fought a Japanese wrestler once. There are other occasions when fighters whose time passed as fighters, but still had marquee names, were able to make some serious money to doing what in effect was an exhibition, including Floyd Mayweather's last outing against McGregor. So if Mike Tyson is being offered enough money to put himself out there in some kind of a sparring session or against some mismatched opponent, some other 53-year-old or 10-year-old fighter, and he can make a quick buck, okay, I got no problem with that.
Hey, this is Dan in the studio. It does sound like the final Rocky movie, maybe, where he fought an exhibition match.
Yeah, well, it's not uncommon throughout boxing history.
Yeah, well, he had that famous ear biting episode with Holyfield too. Remember?
Yes. Another marker in his career when he was so frustrated at finding out that Holyfield was going to do to him in the rematch what he did to him in the original one. He decided that to use some street justice and bit a piece of his ear off.
You know, it's interesting. We're on with the great Larry Merchant, HBO boxing commentator on the Rewind Sports 60 WCPT 820 AM, talking about the possible return of Mike Tyson to the ring. And I gotta pat myself on the back a little bit, Larry. I'm going to share a little bit of history with you. You don't know this, but I was one of the first individuals to realize and know and was informed that Mike Tyson was going to lose to Buster Douglas way back when. And you asked the question, Jerry, how did you know that? Well, I have a sports show called JR Sports Review back in Columbus, Ohio. And I was fortunate to have Buster Douglas on my show. And Buster Douglas, before, and unfortunately I don't have the tape of it, but before Buster, the show ended and we let him go, he predicted that he was going to knock out Mike Tyson. And I gave him a stare, a double look, because after I picked my mouth up off the floor, I go, do you know who the heavyweight champion of the world, do you know who the best boxer? He goes, yeah, it's Mike Tyson. And I said, And what did you just say? He goes, I'm going to knock him out, become the next heavyweight champion. And of course, we know the rest is history. But I was really, really surprised by that statement and the fact that this man backed it up and went out and made it happen. When it happened, were you as surprised as everyone else, not only in the boxing world, but in the world around, when Buster Douglas knocked out Mike Tyson? What was your real personal thoughts about that?
Well, first of all, Buster Douglas, whose father was a tough kind of club fighting middleweight, had more skill at boxing and was a big guy because he was raised in gyms, but he had never shown a serious interest in boxing. And somehow he galvanized all of his forces before the fight. His mother died, which was another inspiration for him. He had something to prove to his father as well as the world, and he seized the opportunity. Most guys didn't trot into the ring on that walk-in when they were fighting Mike Tyson, and he did. And he showed early in the fight that he was willing to take the fight to Tyson, and in the first 2 rounds, it was clear that something was going on. Of course, I was surprised, maybe even shocked, but it made a certain kind of sense, because a fighter like Tyson is either going to fight someone who takes advantage of his aggression to hit him back, which was Holyfield, or a boxer who is going to be able to outbox the Tyson of that time. So here came Douglas. He showed serious intent from the first round on. He didn't just back away. He pummeled Tyson with jabs, and I can recall remarking at that time after the second round that Tyson had probably been hit by more punches in those 2 rounds than we'd seen him get punched in all of his career. An overstatement perhaps, but it reflected what was going on in the ring.
Larry, it's the fastest hour in sports conversation. We appreciate you taking some time. We can continue to talk shop with you all night long, and we hope that we'll get an opportunity to catch up with you down the road. And you being safe and everything regarding this pandemic?
Yeah, I'm sitting out at a park here in Santa Monica, overlooking the beach and the ocean. Everybody is 6 to 10 feet apart at least. And I'm sitting here presently reading, and then I will complete my walk in the next half hour or so.
Well, Larry, thank you.
Yeah.
Man.
Thank you, brother. Stay safe. We love you, and we'll be talking with you down the road, okay?
Thanks, Larry.
Okay, Larry.
Thank
You
you.
got it.
He's the best.
Thank you.
Larry Merchant joining us on our TRS60 hotline. It's the fastest hour in sports conversation. Hey, man. Final words before we get out of here. Gabe Salgado, TR60 scoreboard update. Hopefully we can get to it before we out of here. Any closing thoughts?
God did not give us the spirit of fear, but a power of love and a sound mind, people.
Love the
Happy Memorial
positivity.
Day.
Yes.
Happy Memorial Day.
Salute all the men and
Thank
women
you to
who
the front
died.
line.
Yes.
Yes.
While
Yeah.
serving.
Thank you. 75 years since the end of the war, and we commend all of those who have served to protect us, and including the frontline workers who are protecting us against this pandemic that's going on. Stay strong, stay healthy, stay prayed up, and we got a vigil for all those at 7 o'clock. Pray the rosary or any prayer you need. because we're all in this together, no matter what. On behalf of Lauren Cox, the marvelous one, Dan Marver, and the 17th letter of the alphabet Q, Quentin Demps, I'm Jerry Rouse. Thanks to our producer, Devin Tingo. Gabe Salgado, TRS60 scoreboard update. Take it away, buddy.
TRS60 Sports Update
is sponsored by the Monster Education Foundation. The NBA's proposal to resume the season at Disney's Wide World of Sports has gained momentum over the weekend. The NHL and the NHL Players Association continue discussions as the proposed 2014 playoff inches closer to reality. Former White Sox manager Ozzie Guillen says that Major League Baseball players, quote, have a very, very difficult decision to make, end quote, in regards to the proposal to get the 2020 season underway. The charity golf game that saw Tiger Woods and Peyton Manning take on Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady will send all proceeds to COVID-19 relief efforts, and NASCAR is back on the track tonight with the Coca-Cola 600 as the fourth NASCAR race within the last week. This update has been sponsored by the Monster Education Foundation, MEF, empowering the next generation of leaders. Go to monstereducationfoundation.org to learn more. I am Gabe Salgado, thanking and remembering all those who served on this Memorial Day, and you're listening to the Rewind Sports 60 on WCPT 820, Chicago.
The RewindSports60.com. Relax, reset, rejuvenate. Go to a link right now to restart your life. The RewindSports60.com. What are you waiting for? Hope to see you soon. The Rewind Sports 60.
Take me out to the ball game. Hall of Famer Andre Dawson.
All right. Let's hear it from the greatest fans ever. On three. 1, 2, 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back for its root. Root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Hey, let's get some runs. Thank you.
Still there. Oh, say does that star